Usually when introducing people, someone focuses on what the person has done. But John Petersen is a person of exceptional accomplishment, and the question becomes one of what hasn't John done? A serial entrepreneur, inventor, consultant, military leader, and all-around cultural, creative, innovative leader, John's career has included government and political experience, including stints at the National War College, the Institute for National Security Studies, and the Office of the Secretary of Defense, and the National Security Council staff at the White House. He was a naval flight officer in the U.S. Navy and in the Navy Reserve, and is a decorated war veteran, serving in both the Vietnam and Persian Gulf I wars. He has served in senior positions on a number of presidential political campaigns and was elected to be a delegate to the Democratic National Committee in a convention in 1984. John has led national nonprofit organizations, worked in sales, manufacturing, real estate development, and marketing and advertising, mostly for companies which he has founded. A graduate, boy, did I get this wrong? No, I didn't. A graduate electrical engineer. He has also promoted rock concerts, produced conventions, and worked as a disc jockey, among other things. So I think you'll notice he has a very distinguished voice tonight. In 1989, John Petersen founded the Arlington Institute, a nonprofit, future-oriented research institute, and it operates on the premise that effective thinking about the future is impossible without casting a very wide net. The think tank serves as a global agent for change by developing new companies, concepts, processes, and tools for anticipating the future and translating that knowledge into better present-day decisions. Using advanced information technology, a core of bright thinkers, and an international network of exceptionally curious people, along with simulations, modelings, scenario building, polling, and analysis, Arlington helps equip leaders and organizations from many disciplines with tools and actionable perspectives for dealing with uncertain times. An award-winning writer, Petersen's first book, The Road to 2015, Profiles of the Future, was awarded Outstanding Academic Book of 1995 by Choice Academic Review and remained on the World Future Securities bestseller list for more than a year. His co-authored article, The Year 2000, Social Chaos or Social Transformation, was one of the most highly acclaimed writings on Y2K. His 1988 book-length report entitled The Diffusion of Power, an Era of Realignment, was used at the highest levels of the American government as a basis for strategic planning. His most recent book, A Vision for 2012, Planning for Extraordinary Change, has been reviewed favorably by those left of center, like former Senator Gary Hart, and right of center, former House Speaker Newt Gingrich. You must be saying something right, Jen, to get some consensus there in today's political world. For those interested in purchasing and reading his new book, we will be selling it after in the hallway, and he will be signing the book. If you are interested afterwards, please see us. In his private life, John is a past board member of the World Future Society, writes on the future of aviation for Professional Pilot magazine, and is a member of the board of directors of the Charles and Anne Moreau Lindbergh Foundation. He is a network member of the Global Business Network and a fellow of the World Academy of Art and Science. A provocative public speaker, he addresses a wide array of audiences around the world on a variety of future subjects, and it is an honor to have him here with us tonight. When he is not writing or speaking, theorizing about wild cards, or constructing his own airplane, John leads workshops that help corporate clients build their images of possible futures and visions for reaching their goals. Please join me in welcoming SB Now's special presentation guest, John Petersen.
Thank you, Pam. There's nothing else in my life to talk about. You shouldn't read all that stuff. It's awfully nice to be here. My wife Diana and I came in from West Virginia. We live in the eastern panhandle of West Virginia, in Berkeley Springs, a little town in Morgan County. And we have photovoltaic cells on the roof, and we have evacuated heat, solar heat tubes on one roof on one of our houses, and I've got 48-volt batteries and so on. And so we're very interested in the kinds of things that you are all involved in. We have passive solar. We had an architect come and design our house, and it's passive solar, and it's got 3.5 inches of extra insulation on the north side and all those kinds of things. And it's, so I can tell you that all of that stuff really works most of the time. I just had to get a pump replaced, and I've got a charge controller on the battery set that I've got to get done. Anyway, but it's great, and we like it. And it's nice to be here. I'm a futurist, as it's obvious, I hope. And I think we have a shop, and we're unique at the Arlington Institute. We're one of the few places in the world that look at the whole world. Most people in the futures business are committed to certain disciplines. They have to make a living, right? So they work for somebody, so they're experts in either technology or economics or healthcare or whatever it turns out to be. We are a nonprofit, and so we look at the whole world and where things are going. We are systems thinkers. We get up at 30,000 feet and look down and try to understand how the whole system works, and what we're particularly knowledgeable about is surprises, surprise anticipation. Wild cards is the little term that I coined for that. We just finished producing about a year ago a National Surprise Anticipation Center for the government of Singapore, which is the first capability of that kind in the world. So what we do, and the reason why I say this is because I want you to understand where I come from. I come from looking at the big world, and at the big picture and where it is all going, and taking this kind of integrated systems perspective. And so what I'd like to do here is walk you through our understanding at my little shop of what's happening in the world and where it's all going from this kind of large integrated perspective. Because that's important, because it is all a system. It is all a complicated, nonlinear system. And when you hear people come and talk about what's going to happen in the economy or something, they're talking narrowly about one thing, and they're not talking about all of the other things. The people who talk about the economy don't talk about the weather and the climate change, right? And you've got all of these pieces, and they're all in play at the same time, and they're highly dynamic, and they're nonlinear, like I say. And so if you want to get back and let's go for the next hour, and let me build you a picture of the whole system and how it might be working and where it's going, because we live in an extraordinary period of time. We live in a period of time for which there is no analog. There is no precedent. The kinds of things that we're going to experience in the coming years, no one alive has any experience. We don't have any tools. It's an extraordinary, wonderful kind of adventure that we get to be part of, because we're going to design a whole new world, frankly. But it takes a specific kind of engagement in all of this that I'd like to kind of get you to give a taste of to you about it. So let's talk a little about this. I think the most emblematic kind of symbol of what is happening in the world today is the exponential curve. This is an exponential curve. An exponential curve is something that goes very flat for a long, long time, and then suddenly it starts moving up, 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 and it's a geometric relationship, so it keeps adding on or multiplying on, and so suddenly you get into a period of space where you get rapid change in a very short period of time. This is the rate of change of the population, but you see this kind of relationship across the world, across all of the domains in which we live. Here's methane going up, the amount of carbon dioxide in the air, the amount of sulfur in the air,